Yo, what's going on, guys? It's Gray here. Welcome back to another video. And in today's video, I want to talk about why you need to get wealthy in today's world, and you kind of got to do it fast. And I don't want to say you got to do it within the next, 1 to 5, even 10 years. What I'm trying to say is being average financially is not a safe option anymore, and we need to fix that fast. And so not necessarily getting rich. You don't have to make a lot of money overnight, but what we do need to do is immediately start action now on starting the process of really building some real wealth and keeping the money that we make. And so I want to talk about that in today's video. All right, so point number one, the cost of being middle class is rising. Everything from groceries to gas to insurance to the cost of daycare. The gap between the rich and the not rich is growing a lot. And in a society, we don't necessarily want that. But at the end of the day, it's going to end up being the have and the have-nots, and I want you and me, I'm selfish, I want both of us to be in the haves. What you actually do in your household, what you do with yourself, what you do with your money, is what is actually important. So let's focus on that. First, job security is a myth. I don't want you to be in fear of constantly losing your job, because fear is where you make mistakes. If you know that there is always the potential for a layoff, we need to keep a strong reservation of cash. We need to keep enough money on hand to skate us for a few months while we find something better. If you do lose your job, immediately go get something. I'm talking DQ, if you're in Sonic, a little part-time, just go apply to everything, even if you feel it's below you. What I'm noticing now is when I talk with people about finances, especially those in higher career fields, I'm noticing that people feel that just because they've held this position of manager or boss or salesperson, that now they don't want to shrink down. They don't want to go one step low because, being a barista is below me. That ends up putting them in a position where they'd rather go months on end without making anything than to take a job that is beneath them and make something. Layoffs and things like that, I think are always, there's always a chance for them. They will happen in your lifetime at least once, but multiple times if you're in the working class. And so it might not necessarily affect you, but they will affect the economy and the people around you. So it is important to at least be prepared. The last thing we want is to build up all these investments and build up for the future, and then just have to pull out of them. One income stream isn't strong enough, and the only reason I say that is what happens when you lose it. There's a level of, we got to find some other income streams, whether that's starting a side hustle or having a second job or building a business, whatever it is, we got to figure out something else. A lot of people refer back to that study where it was, millionaires have like 7 income streams. There was a disclaimer that no one really pushed, and it's the fact that millionaires have 7 income streams, but they started with 1 and they really pushed it until it started overflowing into 2 and then so on. And so I want you to get really good at your job, but at the same time, we're in an economy where you have to do that while also simultaneously working really hard at something else with it. At the same time, I'm working at a job, a W-2, W-4 job, and then at the same time, I'm building a business and also doing this YouTube thing. So there's 3 things I'm focusing on, but I'm making sure that I'm building these things when I have the time to do it. Wealth and security equals options. And so if you're actually building a future plan, and you're building to the point where you can have all these different options from the different security that these jobs provide you, you're not left high and dry randomly without any options. And that brings me to point number 3, that the system was not designed for you to win. School teaches debt, not wealth. And so I think if you've noticed this, your whole goal in life from a school's perspective is to go make money to pay your bills and pay down your debts and make minimum monthly payments, go finance a car, go finance your house, and that's it. That's not real wealth. What real wealth is going to be is giving you options. And most people are trapped in this consumerism, buy, work, repeat cycle, which is why we have credit card debt and credit card issues. That's why we have a student loan problem. That's why we have trillions of dollars in people financing cars. That's why we have Social Security going up every year, because people need more to live. Wealthy people play by different rules, and you can too. When you cut everything out, people are going to call you crazy. You stop eating out, you're crazy. You start saying, I'd rather eat cheaper groceries and invest in my future. Or I listen to ads on Spotify. I'm going to get at least one comment about that. The fact that I listen to ads on Spotify. I understand it. I get it. But if we want to be wealthy, we really got to consider some cutbacks, because at the end of the day, well, it's not exactly pretty to live where you have no subscriptions. It really is going to create an option to where later on, when your life is more broken up, you can actually use these things to build a better life for you and your family. Wealth buys freedom, not just stuff. I want people to see is not just the grind set of it. I hate the term finance bro, because all I think is some guy sitting behind a computer doing crypto and stock market trades all day, and they don't have time for anything else. But there's a season for the actual grind and building everything. And if you do the season correctly, it gives you the option to later on be able to live like no one else. Freedom from, toxic jobs and toxic bosses, being able to choose where you live, where your kids live, giving them opportunity. The funny thing I've noticed is, at least for me specifically, food is my big vice. What I've noticed is that I don't remember the meals that I've eaten. I remember either who I ate it with or what I spent on the meal. And sadly, I don't care to spend money on food anymore. I would rather spend, $400 a month on groceries and have that extra cash to really invest into my future than spend $1,800 a month on fast food and meals that I'm not going to remember just for the convenience. I feel bad. I feel unhealthy. I'm not going to remember the meal. I will remember the lack of money. And so I think the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time is right now. Compound interest rewards you if you get in early. So what I want you to focus on is getting in today. If that's $5, if that's $50, or God bless you if that's $5,000, finding something to invest and actually building that up. I know that there's a lot of talk about, woe is me, the system is against me, everything is down, and it's just hard to get ahead. And you're right, it is hard to get ahead. But the only way that you're actually gonna get ahead is if you play into it and actually build something and live differently. The reason it's difficult is because it's not easy. It's the fact that every single time that we think, oh, well, I need to start investing, we're talking over, a $50 meal when we could have eaten sandwiches for $10 and actually put that difference into the market and actually started growing our wealth. Couple ways to get started. Let's cut the silent killers. Let's cut subscriptions, the lifestyle creep, the eating out, the entertainment, the shopping. You probably have enough clothes and shoes and, jewelry, and you probably have enough food. Start living on a budget. And I know that's not popular to say, but actually building something for the future and setting money aside. And then secondly, just start investing, whether that's in a Roth IRA or index funds, or you just start opening a tax brokerage account. And there's plenty of stuff on YouTube. And I want to see people just kind of get rid of that excuse and just admit, I don't know what I'm doing, and that's okay. And we're in the age of information. We got ChatGPT, we got YouTube, we got 1,000 courses. Please don't buy a course. Lastly, I want you to find a new income stream. If that's, picking up a second job, or selling a bunch of stuff, or flipping something, or starting a business of some sort. It used to be cool to be an entrepreneur. It used to be cool to do that kind of stuff. Now it's a necessity. You kind of have to do it. And the scale in which you do it can be up to you. I know for me, I want to build a business, something worth selling for a lot of money. For some people, it's just a little something extra to pay the bills. So if you have a skill, utilize it. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, drop a like and comment down below what I should talk about next. I'll see you on the next one. Adios.